and welcome to Herp A Derp, a podcast about breaking the stigma on herpes and empowering the community. I'm your host, Erin DeVos. As always, you can review my episodes on YouTube, Anchor, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find the link to the channel on the podcast's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter page at Herp A Derp Podcast. Thanks! Hey Herp A Derpers! Cheers to the start of March! Sorry for my voice being a little wonky today. I'm going through some kind of, allergy thing that's going on, so everything's okay. Just trying to, get my voice back on track and, take care of that self-care. So, just to let you know, that's why my voice is a little funky this week. It's not an audio thing, I swear. It's just me. Just me and the wispy voice. But I have to say, March is probably one of my favorite seasonal transition months. And the reason for that is because there are so many reasons to celebrate. With the warmer weather, and we got Mardi Gras just happened. We have St. Patrick's Day coming up, and we're springing forward into spring equinox. It is a time for festivities and settling our warmer weather intentions. And yeah, it's just, it's that springtime feeling. We're ready to get out, wear shorts, skirts, dresses, t-shirts, just ready for that warm weather. Springtime fever. I love it. And my warmer weather intention is to speak truth into existence. And today, I am going to share with you my mantra, and it centers around the core themes and meaning of truth. Keep promises to myself that will benefit my lifestyle and well-being. Say what you need to say. Stop lying about how I really feel. My mantra, I've had this since the start of the year because it really emphasizes how much I want to work on telling the truth to myself and to others, and to stop believing in the lies I've been telling myself for years. By saying my mantra each and every morning, it helps bring me to understanding more ways to tell myself and the ones that I love and care about how much I mean to them and how they mean to me, by always telling them what I mean, what I really mean and need to say to them, and really speak the truth. To expose this episode's main theme, it's speaking our truth on disclosing our herpes diagnosis to our intimate and sexually active partners. With spring fever in the air and the warmth encouraging us to break free from the cold depths of self-deflecting thoughts in winter, we want to be safe, healthy, happy, and walk the earth with ease. Disclosing our herpes diagnosis can be intimidating and overwhelming in terms of what we say or even how to start the conversation. And truth is, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be this complicated as we see it, as I talked about in last episode with the stigma. We are overcoming this, and by this is uncovering and revealing more of our truth, right? Disclosing our herpes diagnosis can be easier, more informative, sexier, and we can even make that all into one. And recently, Hands had launched a campaign on social media highlighting tips and different ways to share our status in a loving, compassionate way on communicating responsibly about sexual health status towards yourself and your partner. And you can check the Herp A Derp podcast Instagram for the post. You're more than welcome to see it there, but I'm also going to say them out loud too, because we're working on speaking our truth, right? And so being able to speak into that, and as well as saying it to ourselves too. And it's definitely one big affirmation that we can all work on in that sense. In ways, take it or leave it. But first, let's talk about making disclosure easy. Tip number 1, making it easy. Visit safe social media spaces for sex ed and STI support, including Instagram, YouTube, and Reddit, I find to be super helpful. And practice disclosing like you would with a partner by voice and voice recording yourself. And you could also tell a trusted friend, then two, then three about your status. The more you say it, the less it stings. And just as we're talking about truth today, the easier we talk about it, the more we'll be able to be more comfortable with ourselves and disclosing what we have. And now on to make disclosure informed. You can use a journal to write out your fears about sex and examine what sexual responsibility means to you. Discover the facts around STI symptoms, outbreaks, and transmission, and learn from online experts about the best language to use while discussing STIs. Now, I want to bring back to the journal. The journal about your fears about sex and examine what sexual responsibility means to you. And it is a very important for ourselves to understand, but also for our partners to understand, like what the responsibility and risks are when you're disclosing. You can encourage them to reach out like to these social media channels that we had referred to in making it easy. And just know that there is more information out there if they want to do research on their own, but know as well that you have to be just as responsible to know a few things about herpes as well in your diagnosis, even if it's what you learn from your doctor and even from Herp A Derpers podcast or Hands Network. It's very sexy to be informed, which leads me into making disclosure sexy. And I love what Hands came up with for these because it's just, it's sexy, and I'll get, I guess, right into it. Self-pleasure and creative ways to get familiar with non-genital sexual touch. Talk about intimacy first. What does it mean to be close to your partner? And stand naked in front of the mirror and do self-worth and self-confidence affirmations. I do have to say, I have made disclosure and talking about herpes in bed definitely more sexy, and just from like reading these tips. It makes you so much more confident about yourself, like as overwhelming as it can be to share, but you can also know like it's sharing like and like exploring sexuality, and also like the different parts that can turn you and your partner on as well. So and even having like the deep breaths and deep thoughts of like talking about intimacy and what does it mean to be close to your partner. And I've had a recent conversation with someone, just a friend recently, about this, how it is, important to be close with your partner and to really understand like what both of you have, but also like what you need in a sexual relationship too. And of course, defining those boundaries and what consent and such as well. But no, we're all just trying to figure things out like in the bedroom and being like explorative as well. But yeah, make it sexy. Like it can be that way too as well. And last but not least is making disclosure happen. And this is certainly not least because disclosure is so important, to really take in and tell your partner. And how we make disclosure happen is you tell your partner that being responsible is important to you and that you find them sexy no matter what. In casual situations, be clear from the start and acknowledge their needs. Don't leave it up to the other person to start the conversation, and don't wait until right before. And these are well said, don't wait until right before to have this type of conversation, because we don't know how someone can react to the news, especially since from experience, like, I can't imagine not knowing and not saying anything before, and to really, be talkative about it, and to really, open up that conversation. Like, it's completely normal to talk about, sex in that sense, but also, like, talking about herpes right before, like, when you hang out with this partner for the first time, or knowing, like, or you just recently got the diagnosis. So, and also, like, say that you find your partner sexy no matter what, and if you really love and care about them, like, herpes doesn't define you, but it also shouldn't define how they feel about you just because of what you have. So, and those are the ways to make disclosure easy, informed, sexy, and make it happen. You can check out my Instagram page, and also in the show notes for the link to the campaign if you would like to post it on your own social media, or just to save the graphics and place it on your phone when the time is right in the way that you want to disclose to your partner. So I highly encourage it. It's kind of like a herpes tip in your pocket. So it's very exciting. And, exciting in the way that, like, you can have these tips, like, right in your pocket. And it's a beautiful, flowers in the background with the hands logo. It's just a great tool. Or even to just send it to a friend. During the midst of the hands campaign that was going around, one quote had really stuck out to me on the importance of disclosure. And, quote, "Many humans who choose not to disclose their positive STI status will never experience the consequences of their actions and how their choice affects the lives of others. Knowing your status is often seen as a burden or a luxury. Taking care of your sexual health and partners is a choice." And that, end quote. And that quote was by Courtney Brame, and he's the host of Something Positive for Positive People. And, it is a choice, and a choice you must choose for yourself. But no, not disclosing can have its consequences, and karma can become frequent when you have the sense of guilt of not telling your partner. I believe that the same lesson will repeat itself over and over again until we learn from it. Let this lesson on truth and disclosure resonate with you on what this can really mean. When I found out I had herpes, the just a friend didn't even see he had it because he didn't get tested after having his first symptoms. Symptoms can be the signs of truth being exposed in our bodies. He chose not to share this information with me, and we had, then continued our lust and intimacy for years. To live a guilt-free life, we must speak our truth into existence. It takes a lot of time and extreme self-care to come to this place of love and compassion, to accept ourselves and what we have. Herpes does not define you, but the choices you make about sharing your truth with intimate partners will unlock a best and better version of yourself. It is up to you when to start having the conversation. The sooner, the better, and happier you'll be. Check out the show notes for the story behind the Make Disclosure Happen campaign and the awareness infographics to save and keep them on your phone as helpful tips when you're ready to tell your partner. Make it easy, informative, sexy, and make it happen. Your truth is yours to speak. As always, feel free to share or comment on this podcast episode through YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email at herpaderpodcast@gmail.com. Anchor listeners can now leave voicemail messages after listening to the podcast episode to get those deep reflections. It's super fun to do and share your thoughts.